Hello and welcome to the Manlike Radio Podcast. Now let's do some godly talk for godly walk.
Live. Okay, my mic went off again, but okay, that's what happens when you go live. You do good stuff anyway. But anyway, I want to say God bless you to all of you out there, all you men, all you who are listening. Thank you once again. It's a new year, of course, as we begin this beginning of the year. And of course, most of you know who I have in a moment. I'll introduce him in a minute. Not that I have to introduce him, he's just another co-host. Okay, not just another, but he's a co-host. I got to be careful how to put that language there, Pastor Stan.
It's all good.
People get that wrong when you broadcast that. What you mean by that? But anyway, so I want to say thank you to all of you who are joining us here on the Manlike Radio. Thank you for being a part of the program. And you can go to manlikeradio.com. You can email us at manlikeradio@gmail.com. That's manlikeradio@gmail.com. And of course I should say, last week we had Pastor Palacios, and before that, Pastor Arthur was the first. Well, we have tonight, of course, a very special one. In fact, sometimes a lot of people just look forward to you, Stan. They say so. They say, well, I can't wait till he gets on. And we're talking tonight, as we always do, whenever. First of all, how you doing, man? How are you doing? Let me not be rude.
Oh, no, I'm wonderful, man. Just glad to be here and excited about the new year and speaking to the people and watching God do what He does in people's lives, man. So.
So I mean, you're saying you're wonderful and you're happy. Stan, you always sound happy.
I am, even in trouble.
Is that ever going to be? That's really good. That's really good, even in trouble. Well, anyway, I want to say this first of all. With those who are coming in, we are talking tonight or talking today, whatever time you might be listening later on down. We are talking today about the road to success. Stan, I always ask this question. Always in the beginning, and I think you know where it's going to be, is what is success, especially to us as Christian men?
Yeah, oh man, a loaded word.
Okay. But
you know what? I think we need to really look at it and simplify success, and the truth is, it's really simple. Success is the same in anything and everywhere, such as, It's amazing how we find it difficult to define success when it comes to people, but God made success the same across the spectrum of life. So, for example, what does it take for what is success to an apple seed to produce apples? Simple as that. Mm-hmm. The success of anything is for it to fulfill itself and its purpose. See? And because, for example, we say the car failed when it won't drive. Mm-hmm. But when it does, and it does safely, it's a success. So the bottom line is, Rich, I think we add too many components to success, and the simplicity of it and the power of it in anything, Christian or non-Christian, is that success truly is when something functions as it was designed to function.
Okay, so success is, and that's for every man and woman listening, especially the men, is when something functions as it was designed to function.
Exactly.
So that means when we go contrary to what God has made us to be, which of course we're going to talk about a little bit more on that later. Contrary. So really, Stan, you can even go this part and say, we're pastors, churches where that are not functioning what they're designed for, because every church has a different, same goal but different calling. Correct?
Exactly.
Is that a good way to say it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Then that church, whether it has numbers or not, is not successful.
No, because it's about what is your mission? Is it being accomplished? You've been successful. See, we counting the wrong thing instead of making things count.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So, so when I understand what it is that I'm supposed to end up with and where I'm supposed to end up in terms of what aspect of life am I supposed to bring to people in society. And if I'm doing that, I am being successful. Simple as that.
Right.
You know, and there's a lot of fringe things that goes along with that or whatever. But the bottom line is that if I accomplish the mission, if I reach the destination, it was a successful journey. Simple as that. Because, as you said, you know, the journey of success. What is the destination? Because before you take the journey, you got to know what the destination is. And if you reach the destination, we succeeded.
Wow.
And so what? We had to take a few detours and side roads and whatever, you know, and things like that, and had a flat tire, you know, and had to replace the carburetor or whatever. But did we make the destination? Yes. Then we were successful.
Well, Stan, you just dated yourself because we don't use carburetors more. We're fuel injected.
I know. I said, God dang it.
And here's a unique thing: they still do on the racetracks. So you know, at least most of them still do on the racetrack. So, but I just want to let you know you just dated yourself. But
yeah, it's all good. I can handle it.
Okay. So So one of the things that Pastor Palacios and I spoke about last week, I should say, was that one of the areas we mentioned a little bit of success is following God.
Yeah.
We talk about following. And in that following, Stan, is it that to bring out what God has for us?
No doubt.
Is it selfish to say that we follow God so we can be successful?
Now think about that, Richard. Now, understand the parameters of success. Is that success first begins with you, but it don't end with you. That's what thing you understand.
Ooh.
See, so for you to be successful, you must focus on bringing out what you have and giving it to others. That's where we go wrong when we start with ourselves. You see, and just tonight, I was talking and we talked about the fruit, that no fruit comes forth for itself. See, and nor does a tree produce fruit for itself. You never seen a tree eating its fruit. If you do, you better run. You better run. Boy, you better run. No. And it says, and we're like branches. The branch bears fruit for outsiders, for others.
Right.
And so if an apple tree is producing apple, it's successful. Why? Because it made its internal life available externally for those around it.
Okay.
Success, baby. Success. Now watch this. You may never pick the fruits of that tree, but it didn't fail.
Wow.
See? And that's what people, a lot of times, why we lost the understanding perspective on success, because we're measuring by what people do in response to what we offer, and determine whether we're successful or not because somebody like it or don't like it. Oh no. That's not the way it works. You know, and so we're no different than that, because everything that God created, He created to do something, irregardless of who responds.
Right. Well, Stan, you know, we got folks coming in. I want to say hello to Sifu, I should say, out there. Hello, Joel. How are you doing? It's been a while, and they're coming in right now. And there are others coming in, and say thank you to all of you who are joining on right now, who are on social media, and you can get your questions in on there. Our producer will monitor it. But let's get back to this, Stan, because, again, I always come back to this other question. We're just kind of repeating what we've been talking about all last year. Is that why does the church seem to fear openly? I can't say privately, but why does the church seem to fear to speak on success?
Because first of all, we're confused about it, you know, and because when you don't understand something, that's what it does. Fear. When somebody don't understand, have clarity on something, they're gonna operate in fear in that very thing, you know, and so that's number one. Then number two is that a lot of times, you know, I think the church loses its objective, you know, of its existence. You see, and become internalized and not realizing the church exists for the saving and for the betterment of the world, not for itself.
Right. Right.
You see, because the church is this, Richard. The church is God's vehicle to expand His kingdom. See, that's what the church to understand. The church is not the objective of God. The church is the vehicle of God for His kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
He created the church to extend His kingdom, but unfortunately, a major part of the church think that the church was God's destination, and it's not.
Correct.
See, the church is God's vehicle. The church is God's representative. That's why the church is referred to as His bride.
Right. Correct.
You see, so the marriage of the bridegroom and the bride is not for themselves, but it's for everybody else around them. Mm-hmm. You know, and when people understand that, then you can get more out of marriage. You know, but when you make marriage about you, you didn't already put the clamps on it. You didn't already start taking the life out of it.
Right.
You know, and
so basically, what you're saying is this, and those who are listening, I want to say hello to all of you coming on again. We got folks coming on stand already. I want to say hi, Diana. We do see you out there, and just let them know that hey, this is about like Stan said, this is a vehicle. We as pastors and heads of church, this is a vehicle like a car of getting you to a better place in God. Correct?
Exactly.
Okay. So would you say success then is always improving?
Oh, exactly, man. Success. Listen, success. You know, it don't have no expiration, and it can always be improved upon. You know, because success does not mean, you know, the end is over, no better. You know, because success happens in seasons. It happens in phases.
Right.
You know, and so you can always improve. You know, because when something can't be improved, then it's dead. Right. And so, you know, it's just simple as that, you know, right. and so long we keep on, you know, at the scripture I was reading one tonight was John 15. He says, listen, every tree, first of all, is to get healthy enough to bear fruit. Once it gets healthy enough to bear fruit, then he prunes it so it can not only bear more fruit, but even richer fruit. You see? And so every year, the tree's supposed to get better and better. And so is the fruit. You see, and but what happened is that we start being fruitful, and we start acting like we've arrived. It's over. Wow. No. There's more to be gained because you know success. To put it in a kind of deep perspective, success is like God. You can exhaust Him. He's eternal. It keeps going.
Yes. Yes.
You see what I'm saying? And I think when you look at it like that, then we'll start resting on our laurels and sitting on our hands, and we'll continue to work and be progressive and continue to move forward and stop celebrating, because that's one of the problems that happens not only, you know, in the church about success. Not only we fear it, but when we start experiencing it, we celebrate it too long.
But you know what, Stan, again, back to what I'm saying, and I know your point of what you're taking, but back to, again, what I'm saying, it seems like, again, the church, and I have to come back to it, there is this fear, and you've already explained that, but I want to, okay, I call it a false humility, that if we are successful, but deep down in everybody's heart, they want that. You know, I've told the people at church, you know, if you don't want to use money, don't work.
Exactly.
If you don't want to, you know, if you think money's bad, then don't work and don't pay your bills.
Yeah, you know that thinking. You know that thinking comes from, Richard.
Go ahead.
That thinking comes from not reading the original blueprint.
Wow.
You see, because when you look at the original blueprint, you know, Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2. See, most. I'm gonna say this, and this is gonna be a bold statement. And let me just put this disclaimer here, Richard. This is not on Richard, this is on Stan. So if you have a problem with this, don't blame Richard, blame me. What I'm about to say.
Go ahead, brother. Just go on. This is manlike. Just sink the ship.
Most teaching for most people, a lot of people, starts from Genesis 3 on. And they which means they start from the fall and build from there. They don't start with before the fall, because before the fall is the original plan.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jesus came back to the restorer, chapters 1 and 2.
Right, Stan. Yes.
You see, the original plan, God showed Adam where all the wealth was, where everything was, because he made it because it would be needed in the earth. So, and the only problem is that when Adam fell, he started working for it. He started focusing on it. And then, over the generation, things progressively got worse and worse and worse and worse. But when we go back to the original plan, it's necessary to fulfill purpose because it's heavenly resources manifested in the earth to do earthly things on behalf of heaven. So you need wealth. You need money because we done demonized it, and the devil had nothing to do with
it. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, the devil had nothing to do with money, and that's why, only thing he done is cause you to fall in love with it.
Right.
And the only way you fall in love with it is you got to misunderstand it.
Right.
But when you understand what money is and wealth is, then you understand it's necessary.
Yes.
And then you know how to use it as well. So,
well, you know what, Stan? I've been using this example a lot, and I think I probably ran out with it now. But especially, I've been using a lot because I don't know if you know this, but I without any boasting, I am an audiophile. I can't play an instrument. I don't sing. I think you've heard me already. Don't like it anyway. And but I love a good equipment, and I'm going to give an example because I think it's one of the best examples I can give that I have experienced. And in my house, I have. I don't mean, and I'm not boasting, I don't mean $5 speakers. I mean, the wife gets to get them at a discount, but I have quite a array in 3 rooms of, I even have a sound room where I can go in there and sit and listen to worship music. But what I always tell people is this: when you hear, quote, an average equipment speaker, and you go down to a high-end audio store, now there's some variables in that, but some guys will try to rip you off, and you hear say a good quality thing where the speaker is $2,000-$3,000 and the amp is about that price and everything, you walk out, say $7,000-$8,000. When you hear that, you never want to go back. Exactly. Because like what you said in Success, and mine's are not that high. Nellie gets them in estate sales and all that, but we're pretty up there because of where she gets them. But what I'm saying is when you hear it, and I've had people come to the house and they sit down and they go, whoa, and it's not me. It has nothing to do with that. It's just what I'm saying is that when the speaker is set right and everything is set right, the equipment, there's a lot of variables to it. When it's done, there's actually a science to it. It's wow. And then most people who hear it even could say, man, that's it. I don't want to hear a cell phone. I don't want to hear a tablet. I don't want to hear a Bluetooth speaker. A sound bar, because they sound like junk. But what I'm getting to is the same thing like you said with Success. Yeah. When God is in control of it and we give it to God and we allow him to use us as a medium or as a tool, as you say, to reach out to others. I mean, isn't it said, Stan, that most of the companies today, even the big companies, the major companies in the top, say, 50 are service companies? They've done something to help somebody? Exactly. And that's the mission of the church. That is it. That is the success of the church. Yeah. Exactly, and as soon as we get that, the quicker our impact and influence, and I even say income, will change. You see, because think about it, those are the 3 things that the church wants to have. We want to have impact, influence, and income, and we don't realize those are the results of service. Okay, so say it again because I just love what you just said, as I always do. What are the 3 things the church wants to have or should have? Impact. We want to have impact. Right. We want to have influence. And we want income. That is the 3 basic things of every individual. But the key to those things, service. Wow. See, serving others, not yourself. So when we serve others, we make an impact. We influence them. Influence. Wow. Which will bring income. So it's kind of like teach a man how to fish instead of just giving him food all the time? Yeah, exactly. And if we could just get that in the church today, just on that alone, we wouldn't shun so many people, correct? Exactly. And that's exactly what I'm working on. Wow. And that is our focus this year in the ministry,
It's teach people how to increase their value. When you increase your value to other people, you'll increase your impact, your influence, and your income.
Wow. Well, I hope people are listening to this, because this is really powerful, what Stan's saying. You know, we call him Mr. Successful, but that's a nickname we have on you,
I take it.
Yeah, it's just Nella would say to me, who's on tonight? I'm Mr. Successful. But what I'm saying is what Stan is saying is so true. And it's so sad today, Stan, that God's given us a powerful tool in this, and we seem to shoot down the tools that God gives us, correct?
Yeah. Think about this, Richard. Think about this. Tell me, what king want a kingdom that don't have impact, that don't have influence, and don't have income?
Wow.
See, and God came here to establish a kingdom. And a kingdom without that, not really a kingdom. See, and that's what the church have missed. This is why it's necessary. We're here to do a kingdom assignment as the church, you see. And but we're going to got to caught up in all kind of other activities. And the kingdom is not advancing, so we got work to do. I call it unfinished business.
Well, we do agree now, like you said earlier. I mean, we talked about it from the beginning. We titled this, or at least I titled it, The Road to Success. Okay, Stan, so how do we deal with some pitfalls? You've been through them. You've spoken about them in all areas of our life. Now, does pitfalls mean, can it mean, I mean, I know that sometimes we can do some stupid things in life. You know, I'm glad I've never done that. But anyway, you know, but because like I tell people, being saved doesn't mean you're going to be perfect in everything, correct? Not an excuse. Not an excuse. But, okay, so elaborate on that. How, when some things are not working, how do we know it's a sign of this is not of God or this is of God?
Well, you know, a simple way to do that is, again, you measure by what you're doing, what is it offering to others? You see, because it just because something's not working the way you want it to work, is maybe because you haven't really seen what it's supposed to be offering to others. You try to look at what you get out of it. You know what I'm saying? And so you got to have that component of what is it supposed to offer to others, and that's you start there, you know. And if it's offering things to others, and it may not be to the level that it should be, and you may not be able to get as much out of it as you want, whatever. But if you keep offering it to others, it's going to increase for everybody, you and them. Wow. You see, and I always like to use this analogy of me watering my grass. You know, I take the water hose and I connect it to the water spigot, and the objective is to get the water to the grass. You know, but here's the thing that people forget, that the Bible in Proverbs likens us to a water hose, and if the water hose does its job to get the water to the grass, they both get wet. See, the water's going to get its life, and the grass going to get its life. Right. You see? And so if we'll stop focus on trying to get wet and just connect to the faucet and spread the water to the grass, which is the world, we'll get what comes to us. Why? Because it's going to come through you. How can something come through you and not to you? Right. You know, and that's the objective is we are conduits, we are water holes, we are tools for God to get things into the world, you know, and we're gonna get the part that belongs to us while, you know, we use to give them what's theirs. Right. Well, if you just joined us, this is the Manlike Radio. I am speaking, of course, with one of our co-hosts, Pastor Stan Ferrell from Arlington, Texas. We are talking about the road to success. Stan does a great, and I will say this, I want to say if there are any pastors out there, ministers, he didn't ask me to do this, okay? And I don't make any money from this, so don't anybody think that, because sometimes, Stan, it's sad that people think that,
the way we think things today, you know. But anyway, if you really want to have a great meeting that deals with success as godly men, as Christians, and Stan has been on both sides of the fence. Working man, I mean, he's just been and knows what God can do and bring him out of a lot of things. And some of you heard it. You can go back to past Manlikes from last year. But what I'm getting to is I just want to say to all of you who just joined in, success is not a bad thing. In fact, it's not a bad goal to achieve. Correct, Stan?
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's very healthy. It's very healthy.
Right. And a truly successful person in God will be a righteous person. Yeah. Because, Stan, I want to ask you this. How is it that God can have I'm just saying this, all the gold and all the silver and all the cattle, and we don't think he doesn't want to pass it on to his people?
Let me tell you why, Richard. Let me tell you why. Oh, I'm glad you asked that question. It's because of the mentality that we are born with and raised up with and we live with. And that is this. We are born slaves, raised slaves, and we live like slaves. We think like slaves and not sons. You see, God wants to be our father, but we so bent on being his slaves.
Wow.
The father don't want servants and slaves. He wants sons.
Right.
That's a whole different mentality.
Right.
You know, and because of sin and how we were all born in sin, you know, we haven't let our spiritually slave mentalities go. You see, and so therefore we keep trying to want to be servant and slave. But watch this. The book of John, chapter 15, says this. Jesus said, listen, he says, I did not come to make you slaves and servants. He said, but I came that you may be friends. Sons. He said, because a slave knows not what the Lord does and what the Lord has. See, you cannot know what he wants to do for you if you're in the wrong mental state. So Jesus made that very clear because the disciple because the disciple was trained, you know, from the environment, which was the Pharisees and scribes, which taught everybody to strive to be slaves or a master, and when God was not trying to do either. And so therefore he said, so the disciples, they were satisfied initially to be Jesus' servant. He said, no, I didn't come to make you my servants. I came to make you my friends. I came to make you co-heirs with me. But they kept wanting to be servants and slaves.
Right.
So he had to change their mentality. There lies in the teaching where he started teaching on the side of the mountain we call the Beatitudes.
Right.
Well, the first thing that Jesus addressed with his first two disciples, because he started out with four disciples.
Right.
Two sets of brothers. And the first thing he said and taught them, before he sent them to do ministry, he taught them about having a new attitude. Because they had a religious slave mentality.
Correct.
And it wasn't until chapter number 10 that he empowered them to send them out. But between chapter 5 of Matthew to chapter 10, he made them observe, and he sat by the mountainside while the multitudes watched him teach his disciples how to rethink it. And he made one statement such as this. He says, except your righteousness exceeds the righteousness of the Pharisees and scribes, you shall not enter the kingdom. And that word righteousness, it's not a religious word, it's a descriptive word of God's integrity and God's holiness, and such as this. It means the way God thinks and the way God lives.
Woo!
See? And so that's why we have a problem with we're part of a kingdom that has everything, whatever, but we have nothing. It's because we think nothing is what we're supposed to have.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's amazing. No, that's amazing what you just said, Stan, because of our thinking. So let's talk about, again, so one of the pitfalls to this would be our thinking. A lot of times we haven't gone anywhere. Of course, one of the major ones is because psychologically which is not bad to say, because sometimes even that you say today and people are like, you're not psychological, you know.
See, there you go. Who made the psyche? God.
Yes. Like,
if we just stop and think about things. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to go read a book, just stop and think.
You know, Stan, it's like we try to disassociate ourselves from everything that we don't feel comfortable, that we feel uncomfortable about.
Yeah. And we're uncomfortable because we're not informed.
Right. And I like what you said a while ago to earlier, for those who might be coming in now, or those who are listening on or listening later, you got the whole thing already. But I like what you just said earlier, is that Genesis 1 and 2 showed everything that God gave us.
Yes.
And Jesus came to restore that. Jesus didn't come to wipe it out.
Exactly. And see, and watch this. When God showed Adam he told him where the wealth was. He told him in every river that came out of the garden, he told him the wealth that was in that river, and he didn't tell him don't touch it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't tell him that. He told him, he said, the only thing I want you to just don't touch this one tree, but everything else you can have. It's yours. That's why I made it, for you to have it. And what we doing? We still fighting over the fact whether we can have it or not. Wow.
Yeah.
That's almost worse than eating the forbidden fruit.
Oh my goodness!
Forbidding yourselves to prosper and be in good health.
Right, and even the Aaronic blessing. When you bless it, no matter what, it's interesting, Stan, that even though, and we're not, as you say, pushing rebellion, but no matter what the children of Israel did, their shoes still didn't wear off in the wilderness.
Yeah.
And that was, quote, Stan, on the old covenant.
Exactly. Wow.
So, and we're not, under the old covenant, they got blessed, and under the new covenant, we're denying it.
Oh, yeah. And it's better, and we still have a problem. Like, wow, really? Okay. So you just gotta help whoever you can, man. That's all I can say.
Yeah. And
love everybody, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Stan, let's talk about somebody maybe, as we got about another 5 or 10 minutes or so. Let's talk about, Stan, maybe somebody right now, a man who's listening, anyone who's listening, and they're struggling. They either have a business or they're working or whatever, and they're really struggling with this. God wants to give them more, and they're struggling with this. What were the first words you would say to encourage them to continue, and that they're not in sin, and that they're not condemned? Yeah.
You know, I would say to them, you know what? The only thing you got to check is check your heart and say, you know what? Are you using what you have, what God has given you, to advance others, to help others, not be the sustainer of others, but then help them get on their feet so they can walk on their own, whatever. If you're doing those things, then then you got to quiet the different voices around you, and because even if you were failing, people will still be talking about you. Doing nothing. So you have to embrace that success don't come without haters. You know what I'm saying? And so you got to start listening to your own heart and start to listen to the mouths of the people around you.
Right.
Because it is a personal relationship, and then when it's all said and done, you'll stand before God by yourself. So
what you're saying is, regardless of how we look at it, true successful people will have haters or those who mock them.
Oh, no doubt.
And would you consider stand a test for us?
It's a test. It's a test. It's a test of your agenda and your heart, and it's one that you need. Really,
Jesus had them too.
Yes, it's one that you need. So hey, that's fine. Just it keeps you balanced, keep you thinking, and keep your motive right. That's why I would take it.
Yeah. Right.
And so. Because listen, they're gonna talk whether you do or you don't. So keep giving them something to talk about.
And you know what's really funny, Stan? I think of the top maybe 100. I think I read a thing at one time. Top 100 Fortune 500 companies, or more than half of them were started by Christian men and women. For example, I think of the top 20 colleges today in America. I think 5 of the top 10 were started by Christian men who wanted to help their father or their grandfather or in the church,
Right.
who wanted to go out there and help people. I mean, the Salvation Army. William Booth was one. I mean, he won souls, but at the same time, he wanted to feed the hungry. He wanted to help those who are destitute in England that need to be clothed. You know what I'm saying? And it's interesting you say that. And all these, regardless, have become successful.
Exactly. And they've got a line of critics.
Wow.
You know, and so you just have to buckle in, and, you know, and focus in and know where you're going and just weather the storm, because it's going to rain no matter what.
Yes. Yes.
And that just goes with it. You know. So.
Okay, Stan. Like I said, so we've dealt with that aspect of, hey, let's just be honest. Be who God's called you to be. Be successful. Step out there and do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the only way you can do it. You can't be successful trying to be somebody else.
Right. And don't be yourself. We understand that. And I like what you said earlier. Don't be yourself. Don't be somebody else. Be who God's called you to be, because we all are going to the same destination. But I like what somebody says. But God is using us in various ways to get there.
Yeah, exactly.
And in our hearts. You know, so let's talk about this for the next minute or so when it deals with this era now. Now, how can a husband and wife, a team, be successful together? Because sometimes you have one is doing this and one is doing that. Yeah.
Is go back and check the original perspective of marriage. You know, when I go back and look at Genesis, again, the original blueprint, the scripture says, and he said to them, he blessed them. He said to them. See, he never said he or her, them. See, we got to understand that marriage is about them, not him or her. You know, and notice, and he said male and female, which means he gave a distinction of some of their responsibilities, but it's still about them. Though you are male, it's about them. Though you're female, it's about them, which means the unit, you see. And I use them as an acronym. You know, the T stands for team, the H stands for heaven, the E stands for earthly, and the M stands for managers. See, God sent a team from heaven to manage earth.
Wow.
And so as a couple, we have to understand we have been entrusted with eternal resources, and we have differences, but we have the same authority and the same purpose.
Right.
And so we got to find a way to get over ourselves and make it about them and us.
Right. Right.
And it's a daily thing. It's a daily thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, right. Yeah. I mean, that is so true. In this day and age, we're seeing that today. So we want to encourage you, those of you who are listening, those who maybe have come on later, those who are watching. I want to say hi to all of you out there again. Thank you for being a part who have come up on social media. We see you out there and say thank you once again. But we want to say to every one of you who are watching or listening or watching and listening later, as Stan has already stated. And again, success is something that God has given us the ability to attain.
Yeah.
That's
and he
it.
expects it from us too.
Yes. And God wants us to be successful in him, by him, through him, for him, so we can also at the same time touch others.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And,
I love it.
Yeah. Stan, any closing thoughts?
No, be yourself.
I like you always say that. You always say that.
That's it, man. That's the best thing you can offer anybody.
Be yourself.
Be yourself, man.
Wow. Be yourself. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well, just want to say we thank you once again for another Manlike Radio. Every one of you out there, thank you for being a part of it. Of course, I had my co-host Stan Ferrell, Pastor Stan Ferrell from Arlington, Texas. Yeah. And I want to say to all of you out there, it's been a great program as we've been talking about success and the road to success. And my encouragement and Stan's encouragement to every one of you that's listening now and later, be successful in God. Allow God, men, to use you. There's nothing wrong in living good. I think we all understand that. We didn't say greedy, right, Stan? We said good.
Right. Good.
There's nothing wrong in living good. There's nothing wrong in. I always tell people there's nothing wrong in having money in the bank. If you and your wife want to fly, I didn't say have it, but you want to fly out to Paris tomorrow and eat.
Exactly.
And some people, no, but there's nothing wrong in that, okay?
Nothing wrong with that.
And there's nothing wrong in I'm just saying. So be yourself, but God has designed you to be successful so you can be a blessing and a medium to others by God.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Well, Stan, like I said, we got to put this one in the history books.
Amen.
And I just want to say, brother, on behalf of all of us, thank you once again for being on the program. And I know that next week we will, next month, we will get back to our usual schedule. Stan usually comes the third week, I should say, of the month. Those out there. And again, I want to say hi to all of you just coming in. It's a joy to have you, Stan and I, along with myself, Pastor Stan Richard Boyd, and then Pastor Stan Ferrell, and Pastor Alta Culpepper, and Pastor Conrad Palacios. We want to say God bless you all. Thank you for being a part of this Manlike program tonight. And we, Stan, I guess we will deal with them again, won't we?
Amen. We'll see them.
Amen. Well, God bless. We'll see you. And please email us at Manlike Radio. That's manlikeradio@gmail.com. Manlikeradio@gmail.com. You can go to manlikeradio.com and check any of the archive broadcasts. I want to say God bless you. Brother Stan, thank you for being a part of it, brother. It's been a blessing.
Oh, thank you. It's my honor.
Amen. God bless.
Bless you.
Thank you once again for joining us on this Manlike podcast. Please take time and email us at manlikeradio@gmail.com. Once again, that's manlikeradio@gmail.com. Manlike Podcast is a production of R.N. Boyd Productions and Love Gospel Network. Please seek a qualified professional in the area you need. Thank you once again for joining us on this Manlike podcast. Please take time and email us at manlikeradio@gmail.com. Once again, that's manlikeradio@gmail.com. Manlike Podcast is a production of R.N. Boyd Productions and Love Gospel Network. Please seek a qualified professional in the area you need. Thank you once again for joining us on this Manlike Podcast.